Oh, oh. Hello, hello. Hi. How's it going? Daniel, Vault, Looney. All sorts of fun people here today. Just pinning a comment as per usual. What did I do to Courtney? Well, I got revenge on her for hosting without. No. It's actually been really busy lately, and unfortunately, hosting together has become harder than usual with everything that's going on. But Courtney's working, paying the bills today. But hopefully, we will be back together next Tuesday. However, we have an amazing guest today, so there will be no shortage of laughs and fun. So without further ado, let's see. Ahaha, there he is. Give me 1 second to find him. Our guest today is an incredible actor and comedian. You may know him from The Good Place on NBC. He was also in Tag the Movie. But we're so excited to talk to him about that and also his participation in Voyage to the Stars, an amazing tabletop role-playing game. So if I could just find the thing to make it happen. Oh, boy. Steve, hi. If you're watching, you can't do it on your computer. It has to be on your phone, or else it doesn't work. So sign off here, and then sign back on. This is what happens. It always comes up, and then it says unable to join. I'm like, oh, yeah, phones only. So, yeah. Cool. In the meantime, Steve, while you are handling that, everybody, it's been a busy week in politics, as you may have heard. And there are already early elections happening all over the country. So, my pinned comment today is just, we've talked about it before, but I just wanted to throw it back up there. It is the NBCnews.com. This is not sponsored not SponCon. We do not get any money for this. But they just happen to have a particularly good setup on their website about how to type in your state and then it kind of gives you all the information about, like, how do I get an absentee ballot? How do I vote in person? Where do I vote in person? When can I vote in person? Can I vote early? All of that stuff. So it's a great thing. Aha! There we go. So without further ado, here's our guest, Steve Berg. It's working. It's working. The elves are turning the wheels. It's happening. And here we go.
Hey, how you doing,
Steve,
man?
how we doing?
Good, pal. How are you?
It's good. It's been a minute. We used to know each other at IO 1,000 years ago.
Back in the day, dude. Yeah, man. IO which no longer exists
May she
anymore.
rest. May she rest.
Oh, what a sad ending for that place.
and all of the places related to it. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
Took a weird turn.
I know. Improv is like the Byzantine Catholics. We're a dying species.
And it raises its head every 107 years.
Yeah.
For about 5 years.
Exactly. Well, good to see you. Thanks for coming
You
on
too.
the show.
Of course. Thanks for having me, my man.
Absolutely. And you are not only a friend from the improv days, but you are also a supreme nerd yourself. You're participating in this awesome Voyage to the Stars show.
Yeah, dude, it's really fun. I love being a part of it. I love anything that takes place in the sci-fi space world. So, it's a fun place to improvise and play around in. So, it's a blast, man. I feel very privileged. Hashtag privileged.
Hashtag blessed.
Thank you. Good yes and.
Yes. Yeah. We learned that.
Still got it.
How long has Voyage to the Stars been going on?
We have, so we are just right now about, maybe I'm not supposed to say this? Well, I don't know how big of a secret it is. We are, about ready to start recording our third season. So It's been going on, gosh, for like 2 years, I think. What does time mean anymore?
Nothing.
It means nothing.
Circle.
It's still March to me. I'm not counting this birthday either. let it be known, I'm not counting this birthday. Yeah, so it's been going on for like two, maybe a little and some change. It's just been a ball, man. Everyone's so great.
That is awesome. And what I love about the show is not only are you guys all hilarious on it,
Thanks.
but there's so much tabletop gaming exists more in the fantasy D&D Lord of the Ringsy realm.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to see the stuff that takes place more in the sci-fi Star Trek-y warsy, realm.
Right. Totally. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, it's just a fun place to play, man. Space is cool, and like getting in adventures is cool, and it's really fun. And even though this isn't like a tabletop game or a tabletop like podcast, I think it is it's gamey because it's improvised. So like,
right.
Yeah, it's a ball. It's a ball. Sure, it's a ball to do.
and your character is Stuart, yeah?
Yes. Yeah, he's kind of just like a slacker, jackass, likes, exotic noodles and whatnot and dipping sauces. I mean, he's a real reach from myself.
He sounds like somebody that would adjust to pandemic living real well.
He's fine. He's thriving right now. Yeah, he's doing real well.
He's got his DoorDash Plus. He's great.
He's figured it out, man. Truly, I mean, actually, I know a couple people who are like, honestly, I'm loving this, man. I'm working from home. I never to see people, and like, I'm kind of like in the middle where like it really is like, I mean, it sucks, but like you need to do it, so
right.
You need to take it seriously. So I don't know, man. I'm reading a lot of UFO books, catching up in the paranormal world. I'm having fun. I'm gardening.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's just so many. I think for those of us who are extroverted introverts,
that's what I am.
Yeah,
you nailed it. You nailed it.
For sure. There are moments where it's just like, I am appreciating the moment to shut off right now and and catch up and read. And what have you been gardening? What's in the Steve Berg garden?
Well, I'll tell you what, we just moved, my wife and I, and so which let me tell you, it's totally great time to move right now.
I'm actually in the process myself, and
what it's like. I mean, it's just
everything.
Everything's more complicated.
Yeah.
And somehow they've raised the prices on it. Like all the moving things that you need, they're just taking advantage of people like us. Nice people.
It's like when you go to an event planner and you tell them, "Oh, this is a wedding," and they're like, "Oh, let me add a 0 to all of this."
Yeah, I mean, it's true though. It really is. I mean, that's a whole nother topic for our Get Them Back podcast. But yeah. So, anyways, I've been just doing some basic herbs. I'm putting in trying to put in a garden, like a raised garden, so I can do some tomatoes in the spring. But
oh, cool.
Yeah, I had some tomatoes going at my old place and a nice little herb garden, and I was happy with that. I was making spaghetti sauce.
A little fresh basil.
Oh, you gotta love that fresh basil. Hold on, I'm gonna charge my phone. This is very unprofessional of me. Reach down here. Oh my god.
No, it's all good. Whenever we get
whenever
we get a blip like that, it's either low battery or a phone call.
Yeah, exactly. It might have been both at the same time.
Right.
Double whammy.
So fresh spaghetti sauce. I mean, like fresh basil. That is no joke, man. Like
man,
that is life-changing.
Yeah. A lot of herbs you can really get away with using dry, but I think basil, you're just gonna know. It pops,
sure.
and it puts you in a good mood too.
Yeah, it does. It just has a, for lack of a better way of putting it, freshness about it.
It has a freshness about it. It does. Well, I'm a very food-based in terms of happiness. If I'm happy, I'm going to eat something bright like that. If I'm not, it's just going to be junk.
Yeah.
Not good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. I have been judging by my moods both by how many pints and what flavors of pints I've had in my
Yeah, I've really had to have some talks with myself about, like, buddy, come on, man. You don't need a burrito at midnight. You just don't. I know you want it, and you can have it because you're an adult, but you just don't need that.
Yeah, no.
And a lot of times I just succumb to it and get the burrito, and I'm really happy at the time.
I mean, yeah, it's one thing if it's on occasion, it's but it is when it's becomes like, well, I've brushed my teeth and I've gotten into bed and I've read my book and now I'm going to get up and eat a burrito in the bathroom. When it
with a
becomes part of the
knife and
routine, then we
fork.
have a
Yeah,
problem.
it's definitely a problem. It was the beginning of COVID because I was like, you know what? Let's give yourself a little vacation. This thing's not going to be a big deal. Anyways, it'd be
Right.
2 weeks. Have an extra beer. Like.
Yeah. It was all
But
novelty. It was
it
all like,
was
oh,
novelty. It was cute. It was
we'll
cute. I
get
mean,
together. We'll watch John Krasinski do his funny stuff. It's fine, right?
I mean, you were joining in and watching movies with people. Now it's just like, leave me alone.
Yeah. Now it's become a thing.
It's become a thing.
For anybody just tuning in that has not seen us before, welcome to Between Two Nerds. We are a show brought to you by Nerds Vote. We are a nonpartisan organization dedicated to bringing voter registration opportunities to cosplayers, gamers, con-goers, and pop culture fans of all kinds. Nerds. Our special guest today is Steve Berg.
Hey,
So we've delved a little bit into the nerds part. So now the vote part. Steve, do you have like do you remember the first time you voted, or do you have a special voting memory?
I do, man. The first time I voted was in LA,
Mm-hmm.
and God, I guess it was in the 2000 election. Yeah, it was because it was right. I had just gotten there and got to register. And I think I registered at Venice Beach. I'm not even joking. There's, I think
It was
I was like,
they had a little stand at Muscle Beach,
yeah, I
getting
think
a
I was
few
like,
reps.
I swear, I'm not even joking. I think I like just moved to LA. If I'm remembering correctly, I just moved there, and I think I had a couple of day beers with some friends. And I was like, I need to register anyways. and so I was able to vote in that election. So that's kind of which was a stolen election, and the world might be a lot different right now.
There are things that happened in that election.
There are things that happened. I don't know. You can look it up on Google it. Google it.
Yeah, and I mean that election is a good model for not exactly what we'll go through this year, but for anybody that's looking for instant gratification the day after election day, regardless of who or what you're voting for. Yeah, we might not get it for a minute. So
I mean, I think you're right about that. I think this is going to have to be one of these things. Like, I mean, I'm not going to talk about partisan issues, I suppose, because that's not what this show is about, from what I understand. But take a guess who I'm for. But anyways, you're right. I've been trying to tell myself that because I'm addicted to the news and following what's happening. I'm not one of those people who be like, I just can't. I have to shut it out. It's like I can't, and also I don't feel like you should. This is a time to really inform yourself, especially locally. I mean, I have really been doing my homework about local elections because obviously the big enchilada is obviously so huge. I mean, you just can't stress enough how huge this is. People have to vote. Mm-hmm. But what I would say, and I'm sure this isn't a novel idea, please do your homework and make it fun. Maybe have a special dinner, open up that bottle of wine you've been saving and take your time and go through the local election. Understand them because at the local level, palpable change that you will notice and people around you will notice will happen. And so I think what I am afraid we're losing the importance of local elections with, all the theater going on here. We shouldn't. I mean, obviously everyone has to vote for the big deal, but man, do not sleep on your local stuff. It is so important, down to school board, down to everything. So I'm proud of my wife really kind of changed me on that 10 years ago, where I was always like, whatever NPR tells me. And obviously that's a good place to go for a guide, but you really should understand it yourself and learn about it and learn why it's important and actually what these people do, what the comptroller does and school board does. So yeah,
Thank you for saying
excited.
comptroller, because I use that word on this show all the time, and Courtney's like, you just like saying comptroller. I'm like, I do.
And I actually got a little tick of serotonin saying it. So when you read it and you understand it, imagine how that's going to feel, folks. So that would be, if I got to get on my soapbox for a second, I would say vote, but vote for everything and understand everything. It actually doesn't take that long, and you know what? It's rather fun. I swear it's fun.
I am actually throwing in the chat. Thank you for actually saying. I mean, you're hitting all my talking points so brilliantly.
Oh, good.
So I'm putting in a link in the chat. We've mentioned it before, but this is ballotready.org. is a partner of ours, and they have an amazing website, which is an aggregator of information about candidates and ballot measures across the nation in
That's so good.
almost every single area. Like, if if you're in a super rural area, they might not have gotten to you yet, but they like start at the top and they keep on doing all the research all the way down. And what you do is you type in your address, and it will bring up all the candidates and ballot referendums affecting you, and you can find out what their individual websites say, what press has said about them, what different endorsements they've gotten from various people, and you can kind of form an opinion that way. And if you want to do additional research outside of that, you're more than welcome. But it's a nice way to like start your shopping list of who should actually be going on your ballot.
Dude, nailed it. One take. Cut, print, moving on. Let's lunch, everybody. No, dude, everything you said is so great. And what you're doing right now, this is so fantastic. I mean, like, things like this can influence people and or just maybe inspire people to look into this stuff and educate themselves. It is so important to educate yourself about this stuff. I know I sound like an old fuddy-duddy, but dude, it just is. This is like our future, man.
And I get it that, I mean, I know my first election was actually in 2000 as well, and I voted in Pennsylvania, where I'm
Wonderful.
from. Scranton.
Scranton, okay, cool.
Yeah. We hear a lot about that these days. And
you do.
You know, the ballot in Pennsylvania is way smaller. So when I came out to LA and I saw like judges and propositions and all that stuff, I was like, what is
I
all
know.
that? But once you start to understand, as a Californian, like how much effect we have as individual citizens in the legislation that happens, like it or lump it, we do.
Yep.
So that's it's, even though sometimes I don't know if I think that's the best way to structure things, I do appreciate sometimes being able to have my hand in that in directly in those decisions.
Yes, it feels good, man.
Yeah, and then also like when you understand I mean, you know, we talk a lot about the Supreme Court lately. You know, and in California, like there's a lot of district judges and everything that we elect, you know, and when we elect judges, you are basically taking somebody and notching them up closer towards federal benches and all sorts of stuff. And, you know, that's where the pool comes from. So it's so true. Yeah. And that's also true of the local elections you were talking about. Like that comptroller may eventually become a state senator, may eventually become a United States senator, might eventually become president. So it's true. And sometimes you can even be inspired by someone at the local level who's doing something that really pisses you off. And you can, the only way to do something about that is like, even if like, I mean, like, you know, is learn about the other side and hopefully there's a candidate that you're like, all right, they're, you know, more in line. But like, I feel like the message, and maybe it's more nowadays because like, you know, just national politics and the big picture politics are so scary and crazy right now that we do talk about that. I mean, it is so important. But like, yeah, again, just to be a broken record about this, all the stuff you're saying about like going through and understanding this stuff, it really is important. And plus, you'll be able to talk around your friends and you're going to sound smarter. And people are going to respect you more. I'm just kidding. But it's fun to sound smart. That's why you read books and that's why you educate yourself in this stuff, man. It's wildly important. I can't stress it enough. And if you're unhappy with the way things are going, understand it, educate yourself, vote, talk to your friends. I actually just tried to talk to a friend who I was, you know, maybe like, you know, we had differences of opinion, and I switched him on a local election for Congress, which I mean, like, you know, Congress is gigantic, man. So it's great, man. I love what you're doing. I think it's great. Just get the discussion out there, man, every day. We can. And we're actually, this coming week, we'll be launching our next initiative for as we get closer to Election Day, which is ballot parties, which we can't really do in person as much anymore, but even if doing it on Zoom, especially if you're in the same county or same locale as your friends, you can divvy up that ballot and be like, okay, so I'm going to take this judge, you take that judge, you take that judge. We'll all research, and then we'll come back and inform each other. And then it makes it a group thing. It makes it less overwhelming. Like, okay, we're divvying up the list. And
That's
and
incredible.
it's not about consensus. Like it's not everybody has to agree on everything, especially when
Yeah,
you get into the local nitty gritty and
that's
everything. Everybody's
impossible.
going to
Yeah,
feel a little differently.
right.
But as long as it's like, you know what, I walked out of here feeling informed, and I can do more research by myself if I wish.
Yeah, and you may change your mind for the better. You're like, oh, I didn't know that about this person. Actually, I'm way more in line. That's a wonderful idea. Actually, I've never even heard of that.
It's actually, I
It's
mean, it's actually
fantastic.
brought, I will say it's actually, some people are like, oh my God, we're going to argue, we're going to yell. If you set ground rules,
Yeah,
and also, it's less talking about like, well, he's this and he's that. It's more just talking about like my experience on this issue is this. And
yeah,
I've actually gotten closer to some friends who I might not have agreed with about the subject before, but when they explained, like, you know what, let's say it's healthcare. My mom was in the hospital and this happened and blah, 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 blah. And that's why I feel this way about healthcare. So,
right.
okay, I
Yeah,
I don't have that experience, and that actually makes me think about that differently. So,
yeah, yeah. Maybe what the yeah, you're totally right. Maybe I was completely misinformed or just assumed different things about local healthcare, and that is interesting. I've actually learned quite a bit about how states, how they differ state by state with healthcare and stuff like that. And I think everyone always thinks like nationally it's just all the same. Like it is in a lot of aspects, but it really comes down to states. And I'm really excited about I have a house in Omaha, Nebraska, where I'm originally from.
oh,
And
cool.
I'm there right now, and I'm registered there, so I get a vote in Nebraska. So I'm very fired up because I think my vote's going
I mean,
to,
I have
count
no
big
opinions
time.
about that whatsoever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm legally able to. Yeah. No,
Yeah, no, no, no.
this is above board. I definitely went through the
Oh,
proper
no, no,
channels.
no. I just
Yeah.
mean like, or did it, I mean, to be honest, I probably get a little excited that you can vote in Omaha for certain reasons, but I won't say what.
Yes.
Like, I'm very pleased that you're voting in Omaha.
Me too. Omaha is actually a huge deal.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal. Like Nate, they've been writing about it, so I'm really fired up. I'm doing phone banking for a candidate I love. I don't know if I'm allowed to say who it is, but
Yeah.
She is wonderful. I'll say that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I have a friend who just picked up and moved to Jersey all of a sudden. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to miss you so much. Are you registered?
Yeah. And that is the thing. This move happened like, I'm still like we'll be in LA and stuff too, but I wanted to get a house in Omaha, blah blah blah, for a few reasons. But it is incredible how fast you can register to vote.
Mm-hmm.
It does not take that long. I was like shocked. I was like, oh my God, I have to hurry up and do it. And that was like one of the first things to do, like get a house, register to vote. And I was like, oh, that actually happened so fast. But you need to get on it now.
Yeah,
but
and it does vary from state to state. Like
it
some are
does.
a
It does.
little trickier.
No, you're right. Omaha is not like a hugely populated state, so it might be a little easier here. I'm sure California and Texas and state of New York might be a different story. So hopefully you've done it already, and if you haven't, don't give up. You're not out of hope. You can
Oh
still
yeah,
make it happen for
there's
sure.
plenty.
So
I don't think no, we haven't hit any of the deadlines yet.
when
So
what is? Do you know what the deadline is?
it's rolling deadlines for every state has a different deadline,
Okay,
and
okay.
some of them even have like California. You can register the day of. Like you can
hmm
walk to your polling place and be like, I'm here to
But
register.
I think California is unique like that. I knew that, but
There's
maybe
only a
maybe
handful
not.
that do same day.
Right. They
Um,
should all be same day. That's so dumb.
I mean,
God.
the amount of this might sound like it's a partisan thing, but we're all about voting rights and access, and certainly against
Absolutely.
voter suppression in any
Yep.
capacity. And anything that makes it harder, it's like you're disenfranchising your citizens from being able to express their voice. And we actually have an amazing, I don't know if she's still here, but we have an amazing fan. Her name's Nanny Marie, and she is always hanging out. And she's from Australia
Oh
and
wow.
still watches us all the time, and I love her for it.
That's right.
But, it's mandatory there to vote. It's compulsory. Like, you got to do it. And
That is, I mean, I know people don't like federal rules and America doesn't like rules, but come on, you pay your taxes, you stop at a red light, vote. Yeah, you should have to, or you get dinged on your taxes. There should be a penalty. Obviously, I don't know how they would enforce it, but what you were saying earlier, I'm sorry, I want to go back to it because I didn't want to gloss over it. People or any politician who is pro making it more difficult for you to vote, and I'm not saying it can happen on either side, that is a person to watch after and say, I am very suspicious of you, sir or ma'am, because why would you not want everyone to vote? Are you not confident in yourself? Like, are you not confident in your policies? Are you not confident who you back up? Are you not confident who you plan to serve? So if
Or are you
anyone,
admitting that what you're trying to push serves some people more than others?
100%, exactly. Thank you very much. So that would be a politician I would not want to vote for. I will not vote for anyone who wants to suppress a vote ever under any circumstances. Like, I can't think of a bigger red flag. So that's
Yeah.
that's all I would say about that.
So now to one of our favorite questions. By the way, anybody just tuning in, this is Between Two Nerds. Our guest is Steve Berg today. If you have
Howdy.
questions for Steve, feel free to throw them in the little question mark box down the bottom. We will answer fan questions as we go, whether it's about Voyage to the Stars or I mean, I have so many questions about the movie Tag, but we'll get to that. Jeremy Renner, tell me.
Jer.
This is one of our favorite questions to ask our guests is, who are you voting for? And when we're asking that, we're not asking your party or candidate, but when you're casting your ballot, who do you have on your mind, or who, what person or people or issues that you want that vote to benefit?
Okay, I can say that I'll distill it down to the simplest way possible. I am for a person who is going to serve the greater good, not few. I am for a person who is concerned about the 99% of the population and not the 1%. Mm-hmm. I'm concerned about a person who believes it's a right for everyone to have health care, or at least the closest thing to that.
Sure.
I am for equality for all. I'll admit, I'm very for, I lean towards progressive politics. So any kind of candidate who has progressive politics, who is for the beautification of the local environment, whether it be lakes that are nice and clean, or a basketball courts for kids to play on, or public schools being able to give teachers a tax credit to where they can buy supplies for the room, because that is an issue I have a big problem with. Why did they take away a tax credit for teachers to buy supplies for the kids and another meal for them? Anyways, those are the kinds of things I intensely focus on when it comes to choosing a candidate. And the good news is I feel very strongly when I look down the line that there is someone who represents that. Mm-hmm. Or at least is pushing towards representing that.
Yeah.
And those people tend to not be the people who want to suppress votes. That's also number one. Like, I mean, like we said earlier, if you are aid in any way for voter suppression, you're gone. I would never vote for you ever in a million years.
Yep. I mean, that's a great list. And truly, like, the people that are fighting for the greater good want to hear the greatest amount of input, which is the vote. So,
Nailed it. You nailed it.
Yeah, it all ties in together.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, are there any causes or organizations that are particularly close to your heart, or?
I've been really giving to the NAACP lately, and the Black Lives Matter movement, I think, are very, very important. These are voices that need to be amplified. All the money, all the volunteering, all the positive push you can give towards these organizations, I think, make the world a better place, and the country a better place, and your local area around you a better place. It makes people happier when any organization that, I mean, Environmental California is a great organization too. And there's a new organization, environmental organization that my friend's a part of, and I cannot remember the name right now. And he's going to kill me if he's watching this. And I'm sorry, Gareth. Sorry, Gareth. I can't remember. But they're fantastic. I'll do
if
a
they're
comment
watching,
later.
they're more than welcome to put it in the chat.
Please put it in the chat right now. But yeah, I feel like these are great organizations to get to. And I want to go back to my feelings about local stuff. Local charities too, obviously are hurting because of COVID, and hurting because people are, a lot of people are down their luck and unemployment is super high. So some of these local charities, even like food banks, are really hurting right now. So if you can, give to your local food bank, whether that's money, your time, couple extra cans lying around. It's really important right now, man. And I think because of the potential risk of COVID in the next couple of months, I think these charities, I worry about them. I worry about a lot of local charities. I worry about a lot of national charities too. But sometimes, these organizations are the first ones to really suffer when the economy is down and the country's down. So, yeah. I think everyone has versions of local charities that you really can feel can benefit the downtrodden and people who are really having a tough time. So I would find one of those, one you believe in, one that you know is legit, because I have donated to illegitimate charities before. I'm sure we all have and not known it, but
presidents of Nigeria, or princes,
I believe they had a good case. They needed that big money, and they promised me a taste.
There was a bibliography. There was
yeah, I mean, if you have footnotes, I mean, I'm a sucker, I guess.
Both of us coming from, the old IO background, we've had lots of friends who are involved in entertainment and arts and culture and service industry and hospitality, and just seeing so much of that decimated. Yeah. It's frightening. There's across the board, there's so many things, both cultural, charitable, educational organizations that we take for granted on a local level that might not make it, and it's really up to us to not only give to those large organizations, which we should, as you mentioned, but to also try to offer support to your local food bank and those local spots, because that's what if you don't want I've said this before, you don't want every corner to just be Walmart and Chili's and Fast and the Furious. Like, dude, you've got to keep your mom and pop stuff alive.
You have to. God, that's wildly important. And like right now, just being in Omaha, when I came back, there was like a couple places, like restaurants or whatever. I was like, oh, I can't wait to get takeout from there and support them. I'm like, oh, they're gone. Oh no! And after this is all said and done, and we're over COVID, and we're picking up the pieces and stuff. I mean, like you said, we run the risk of it being a corporatized restaurant world, liquor store, grocery mart, it's so. I feel like those places can weather the storm. I mean, some can actually, but largely, I feel like they can. But the mom and pop places, man, whoa, doggy, you gotta support them.
Yeah.
Plus, they taste better. They taste better.
They do.
They cook with love, man.
They sure do. Okay. We'll take a break from the voting thing for a minute. We need to palate cleanse this every once in a while.
Okay, yeah, we got real serious, man.
Yeah. I will ask this. When I know you're in Omaha right now. When you were in LA, what was your typical voting habit? Were you always vote by mail? Did you go in person? What was your thing?
Always go in person. I have it's almost ritualistic to me. Where I really enjoy it. I get excited about it. My walk I could walk there. It was literally a 90-second walk. I voted at this wonderful Buddhist temple down the street in Los Feliz. I mean, it was such a wonderful. Everyone was so happy. If
anybody wants to take the anxiety out of voting, just
you walked in there. The energy is good. You could see the faint smell of sandalwood incense. It was a very positive experience, and I would always take myself out for a nice lunch afterwards. Be that a sushi or a green Thai curry with soft tofu over some steamed rice. It just depended on the day and the season, but
Sure. Yeah.
Gosh, it sounds so good, doesn't it? But I've never voted by mail ever. Actually, I've always been lucky enough to be in town and have incredibly easy access, which obviously everyone doesn't have, and that's a shame. But again, I am actually going to vote in person this year too, because I'm scared my vote won't be counted.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
I have always been a vote by mail person myself. Not always, but sometime after I moved here, things just got too hectic, and I was just like, let me just
totally.
And it's been great. I've never had an issue with the vote by mail. However, this year, just because of, like we had talked about earlier, but, the timeline of the counting and everything like that, it just felt like, oh, I'm going to cast mine early. I'm going to
If
cast
you
mine early and in
can,
person.
if you can,
Yeah.
man, I feel like it's like, a good move. Although it's a good experience, it really is. Voting. It's fun, man. Even if like the few times I've waited in lines, it's such a positive experience
Hmm.
to kind of like hang out with your local community. It's eclectic. It's wonderful. Like so, I don't know. I was just it was always a fun day to me. Like really a holiday, which it should be treated as one.
I mean, it
I mean,
absolutely should.
crazy. We should maybe join the rest of the world in like I don't know, whatever. But yeah, no, I've always been a vote in person guy, and I'm going to this year just because I feel like I can. It's close. I feel like I can be safe. I'm gonna wear 5,000 masks and gloves and be in a hazmat suit and
Yeah.
do it up.
If
And I will
Courtney
take
were,
myself for lunch.
yeah, if Courtney were here, and I apologize that she wasn't able to join us
Oh, that's
today,
okay.
but she would tell you the story about she's going to be a poll worker this year, and
Good for her.
her plan is I haven't seen anything that says you can't do this, but I've seen nothing that says you can. She's going to go in one of those like vaguely inflatable looking Tyrannosaurus outfits.
I love those things. They kind of shake all fun and stuff.
Yeah, like those used car lot
They're,
baby
they're,
suits.
I love those things. They're fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So hopefully she gets to do it because then we'll get an inside exclusive of,
Oh my
of voting by the
gosh.
T-Rex.
Wow.
Yeah,
That I mean and plus I think if I was a voter and I saw that, I'd be like, well, that's just fun. Thank you.
yeah.
That's fun. You
Thank
made
you
you,
for
you
doing
gave
that
me a
for
little
me.
piece of joy. I appreciate that. Everyone loves
Yeah,
someone in a Tyrannosaurus Rex costume.
yeah. I mean, like I've had a friend whose parents have been poll workers, since God was a boy, and they're
It's
always
amazing.
like bringing donuts and pizza and all sorts of stuff. It's
That's
really cool. It's
beautiful.
nice. Like
I
it's
wish I could do that this year because Omaha is such a vital voting place. I was like, at first, like, I'm going to buy everyone pizza. Everyone loves pizza. And I'm like, with COVID, I can't imagine walking around with pizza. Be like,
if it's individually wrapped
yeah.
pizza.
Then you take it home and you microwave it for 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do that.
Dip it in bleach, not ranch. Um, yeah. Yeah, that sounds horrible. I just ruined pizza.
Yeah, yeah, you did.
Sorry. That's bad.
No, it's funny. It's just funny because so Courtney and I have an ongoing argument. Let this be your practice test of casting a vote
Ooh,
this month. Um, can pizza have pineapple or no?
sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry,
Absolutely.
Courtney.
Sorry, Courtney. Like, I will tell you this: if I'm at a pizza, let's call it a pizza party, and there is, various selections of toppings. If there is a pineapple one, I'll take a slice. Will I order it for myself, and like make that my pizza night, like, go all in? Probably not, or I never have. Maybe I will one day.
Hmm.
But if there's a pineapple slice amongst other toppinged slices, let's have some
Why not?
fun. Let's
Yeah,
have some fun. You might only go around this rock once.
that is the truth.
Take
That
a
is the truth.
risk. Inject some novelty in your life. Have a pineapple slice.
Nanny Marie, thank you, thank you.
Yes. Thank
She
you,
always
Nana Marie.
agrees with me on this.
She gets it. She gets it.
Absolutely. So, Steve, outside of Voyage to the Stars, what is your original nerdery? Like, was it Star Trek, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Marvel?
Mm.
Like, where did you
Like in
find
terms of like media nerdery, well, I
it?
would probably say, I was like when I was a kid, I read a ton of comic books, horror comic books. I like a lot of Marvel, X-Men, and then you know, this is kind of a weird. Now, I think this falls under the nerd category, but like I'm wildly interested, and I've been going to UFO conventions since I was like 9 years old. And I'm not even like necessarily a believer. I don't believe extraterrestrials have visited Earth, but
Sure,
I believe there's something going on that I just don't know what
they're
it
out
is.
there.
So I think there's a non-human intelligence that has potentially been flying around our skies. I just don't think it's aliens from another planet. I think it's something much more complex. So that's my
Okay,
big nerd. I love the paranormal, all that kind of
sure.
stuff. Like, and I'm not like a believer, and I've never, ever experienced anything
Hmm.
remotely. But I just can't get enough about reading about it, and I have a library of like UFO books behind me, and it's weird, I guess, but it's fun. And for some weird reason, since I was a little kid, I've been deeply fascinated by this stuff.
Now, have
And
you
I
have
can't
you
get
been
enough.
to one of the conventions?
So many, so many. Like you have no
Oh,
idea how many. I mean, so many.
now what I would imagine, like as somebody whose closest experience has probably been to like one of those random places on the drive to Vegas, that
Yeah, yeah, like
yeah.
alien jerky or something like that. Yeah,
Right. It has like the little exhibit in the corner.
sure, it's fun. It's fun.
What would you say? What is the most mind blowing thing for the layman who attends one of these?
Well, gosh, they break off into a lot of like subcategories. I think probably the most exciting thing for most people, not necessarily say myself, is when an alien abductee researcher probably brings out like a little group of supposed alien abductees, or at least they think that they were abducted by aliens, and they kind of give their like in life testimony. Because when I was a kid, I just believed it all, like whole cloth, and I was like, oh my god, I'm watching people who run a UFO, run a saucer. But I think there's a lot of people who do go to these things who are just like straight up believers, man. And
Mhm.
like I fall in like the agnostic category. I just think it's really fun, and
Yeah.
I am open minded to the possibility, but I take it with a very large bag of salt.
Now, how many of the testimonials are akin to like that Kate McKinnon sketch?
I mean, they raised the stakes and amplified it a little bit, but I've been to some that are pretty weird. I mean, like,
Sure.
there was one I was going to for a while in LA that was at a Methodist church in Studio City. Like, I would drag like a friend every once in a while, and they're like, "What in the hell is going on?" I'm like, "Dude, this
I
can be
think
fine.
one
We'll
of
get
your
Chinese
friends
food
just
afterwards."
commented, "Is this isn't happening?" Said best trip with Berg was in Roswell.
Oh, dude, yes. It's true. I did. We went to Roswell for it was like a drunk history thing. I do the show drunk, or I did. I guess it's no longer. But
Another may she rest.
God, may she rest. Maybe not. Maybe no.
Yeah.
But we did went down there and shot for the Roswell Festival,
Hmm.
and you have no idea how happy I was. For 2 days, I'm just meeting my UFO heroes, like drinking beers with them, sharing war stories. I have none to give. I was a listener, but it was heaven, heaven. Just so much fun. I couldn't get enough.
That's so cool.
You got to try it. I mean, if you're into cons and you like going to Comic Con, all those things, you would feel pretty at home at one of these.
Yeah, I love. I mean, as somebody, I think my dad was like a professional people watcher, and so I mean, not in like a pervy way, but like
Right.
like observing human behavior.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, like his favorite place when he would come out here was Venice Beach because he would just love to just sit and just watch the weirdos.
And it is. It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I love about Comic Con is just like the level of imagination that you see. Like I did not know you could do that with a box. I mean, there was a guy who built a costume of Silver Samurai out of Coors Light boxes, and I was like,
That's fantastic.
I got nothing.
That's art. That
Yeah,
is art.
it was. It was so
Yeah.
meticulously and detailed and done. So I love to go to things that are, and I'm kind of a comic nerd. I like,
Right.
I watch a lot of the movies. I definitely watch Star Wars and everything. So like, Comic Con's not too far outside my realm, but I loved bringing my partner, who's a Broadway guy.
Oh, wow.
And he
Yeah.
was super into it because he was like, I have no idea what's happening, and it's amazing to watch. So for me,
It's grand theater.
yeah, going to a UFO convention would feel very like I am completely out of my element, and this is amazing.
I'll tell you what, it is. It is. I think everyone should try a UFO convention. When they come back, they're all hurting right now.
Uh,
There was one I was going to go to that was in Laughlin, Nevada in November.
hmm.
But man, it's, I think it's a bust. Or I actually think they're planning on holding it, but I'm like, I am not going to that.
Yeah, maybe not.
Pass right now. Sorry.
Maybe not the best idea.
No
Yeah.
idea. No.
Have
Not
any
enough mass in the world right now.
Have any tried any digital versions, or has it just?
They have actually. There was just one called, I think, Strange. That happened last weekend, called Strange Realities, but I was unable to virtually attend, sadly. But I wanted to attend so bad that I emailed the guy who put it on and asked him if I could buy like all the lectures that I missed. I'm like, I'm willing to pay. Just give me a price. You can totally
That's
rip me off.
amazing.
Because there was some I really wanted to see that are important to my research.
Yeah, I mean, well, that is one of the digital con experiences is that sometimes the talent level goes up a bit because A, what else are they doing? And
Yeah.
B, it's not as hard to like, well, we got to pay travel and we got to pay this and pay that. It's just like, hey, can you just turn out your computer in your apartment for an hour?
Yes, I agree. I think these are going to be happening a lot more. And I mean, I don't think you'll ever be able to replace the feeling of seeing old friends. Because like I've been to Comic-Con, a handful. It's always been for like work related stuff, but I always stay and enjoy myself. And there's people I see down there who I see like once a year. And you're there for such a short amount of time at these cons, but you build a really fast bond sometimes with these people who live across the country or another, live in another, part of the globe. But I do miss seeing people, and so I think I do, I do have friends and people are like their big vacations and what they like kind of save up for and work for is to go to cons during the summer. And it's really been hard on people, man. Like there's a real community and like I had, for Voyage to the Stars and some of the other projects I was doing, we had planned to go to Comic Con and some of these other ones. And I was really bummed when they got canceled, man. I was like, oh, dang. It's always such a fun weekend. And I know it's always a real full of love and good energy. So, it's a shame, but they'll be back. I believe that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like as an avid goer to San Diego Comic Con, we bitch about like, oh, the lines, this,
Yeah.
that. But when it's gone, we're all like, what happened?
Dude, wouldn't you love to be waiting in a line right now?
Oh, God, please. Yes.
I would love to wait 90
I've
minutes
never
to check
stood in
into my
line for
hotel.
Hall H, but this weekend, sure.
I'll do it. I don't care. I want to be around people and strangers. I know, man. I miss it too. I mean, it's a bummer. You just can't like replace the being in person with like friends or just new people and the people watching, like you said. So I think the good news is maybe we'll all cherish it a bit more and say like, whoa, this thing we love can't be taken away from us if we're all not more responsible in the world. So
Absolutely.
boy, let's
Yeah.
let's respect these things, man.
And to anybody out there that misses the Comic Con and UFO Con and other con lines as much as we do, just think you can replicate that by standing in line to vote. See, it just
You
all brought
sure
up.
can. And getting out there to vote may actually influence getting us to cons faster. I truly believe that. So
Yes.
getting out to vote, I'm not telling you who to vote for. This is not what this show is about.
Nope.
But may influence getting us there faster.
Yeah.
That actually I don't even think can be disputed at this point.
We just need responsible leadership that has a plan to get us out. Because
that's all you're saying. That's
it's
all
only
I
gonna get
couldn't agree.
longer.
It's going to get long. Yeah, I mean, if we don't
Mm-hmm.
hunker down, folks, take this seriously. I want to go to and then concerts, man. I had so many good concerts I was going to see this summer. It was like the summer of big concerts for me. That's all gone. That's all gone.
Oh, that's right.
Remember seeing bands?
I think I was going to see Alanis Morissette this year. I don't even remember at this point.
I know. You probably were. I mean, yeah, man. I miss seeing live music like you would not believe. Like, I have an ache in my stomach for it.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be great.
Yes, it will be great again.
It will be great.
It will. Steve, this has been so much fun just chatting with you.
It has, man. It's been nice to reconnect. I really applaud what you're doing. Thank you so much. I feel very privileged. You let me take up some of the air on some of my thoughts about this stuff.
They were great thoughts.
Thanks, man. I do believe
that. Have scripted it better.
Hold on. I'll go over the notes and see if I missed anything on the script because it was a lengthy script. I think I was off book mostly.
You are brilliantly. No,
yeah,
but honestly,
dude.
There was a lot of great stuff. So
thanks, man. Well, vote locally. obviously vote, 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 vote. But it's not just about the big enchilada, man. Local stuff is just as important. It really is. So educate yourself. It's fun. Make a night of it with your buddy, your partner. Do it on Zoom. Do it with your cat. It's fun. Educate yourself. Get out to vote. And then treat yourself to a nice lunch.
There you go. That's your voting plan, everybody. So
yeah, have a plan.
Awesome. Steve, thank you so much.
Great to see you, man. Take care of yourself and peace.
Peace.
Bye, my friend.
Oh, he is awesome. So nice to see him. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to another installment of Between Two Nerds. We will be back on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, with another episode. In the meantime, make sure you check out that pinned comment. Visit nbcnews.com/planyourvote and plan your vote. It's a great way to make a plan. And there's also amazing resources on our website, nerdsvote.com. And we will see you on Tuesday. Bye.